Okay mums, you've got this. I'm going to walk you through how to do a haircut that I'm going to do on my son, and I'm going to show you a few do's and don'ts before you start to help you to be able to have the best experience possible, to make sure that there is no disasters and that it's an experience that you want to keep doing. So keep with me and I'm going to talk you through some things to consider before you start your haircut. Now, we want to make sure that we have our tools. You need a good pair of scissors, a hairdressing pair of scissors. You need a comb. You need to have a pair of clippers would be great. You can get them from the supermarket, no problem. Little pair of beard trimmers, anything like that is fine. Scissors, please do not be using an old pair of scissors from the drawer in the kitchen, because I guarantee you, you're going to regret it. Now, walk around the house. Try and find somewhere that has the best possible lighting. Some natural lighting is good. You want to be able to see very clearly what you're doing. That's going to help you to be able to see any things that you want to go over. Otherwise, you'll find that when you go outside, you'll be looking at your kid's haircut going, oh my God, I wish I had seen that better inside because I need to go over that again. If you can't find a good spot in the house, do it outside, which is great because, hair often in the house, no matter how much you sweep it up, you're still going to find hair in a week or two. So either go outside or you can find yourself a spot inside the house. The thing to remember is choose wisely the chair that you put your child on. What is best is to have a stool, like a bar stool or a kitchen stool, that they can sit up quite high. So then that way you don't have to lean over. They're at a height that's easy for you to work with. And the other thing too, you want to make sure that the back on the chair is not going to get in the way. So something that's got a low back, so that way you can work in at the nape and the back quite easily without the back of the chair getting in the way, because that definitely makes it more difficult. You want to pop a towel or a wrap. Make sure that you sort of protect them from the hair, only for the fact that if hair gets down the back of their shirt, it's itchy, it's annoying, and you don't want to be halfway through a haircut and they're like, this is itchy. Well, when we finish, especially if you're, struggling a little bit or you want a little bit more time, because you want to be able to take your time. You want to be able to go over and over and over the sections and be really precise as what you're doing. Another tip is when you're cutting the hair, less is more. So cut less than what you think you need to cut. A rule of thumb is that an average head of hair grows a centimetre a month. So if it's been about a month and they're looking a little bit shabby, don't take more than a centimetre off. Also too, when hair's wet, with the elasticity, the hair is actually longer than what it is when it's dry. So when it's wet and you take a centimetre, that's a centimetre and a bit. So do a little bit less. And then that way you can always go over it again, but once you've taken that first big chunk, hard to come back from that. Okay, you can't stick it back on. Next, think about what you're wearing. When I cut my kids' hair, one time I totally ruined one of my favorite pair of Lululemon leggings. I cut their hair, and no matter how many times I wash those pairs of leggings, I still feel those prickly little hairs in there, and it drives me nuts because I really feel like I've ruined one of my favorite pairs and I just can't bear to wear them anymore. So either put an apron on or wear a pair of jeans, dress, something that the hair is not going to get stuck into, and that when you wear it, going to stick into you. You're really going to regret that. So choose wisely what you're wearing as well. Hopefully after this tutorial, I've given you enough confidence to go ahead and cut your child's hair. Hopefully it's not a disaster. That's what we're aiming for, it not to be a disaster. The reason being that the next time you do it, you're going to get better and better until you absolutely nail it. You'll end up knowing your kids' hair and how you like their haircut better than the local stylist. So stick with it. As long as we don't have any disasters, you're going to get better and better and better, and you're going to be glad that you cut your own children's hair. Okay, speak soon. Okay, so I'm going to be talking you through how to do a college boy haircut at home. The tools that I will be having is my wild clippers. I'm going to have my scissors and my comb, and also a pair of thinning scissors. Okay, so the beauty about a college boy haircut is you're able to have length on top, and it's going to be shaped and tapered into a short haircut around the back and the sides. It's not necessarily clippered and then blended in, even though we're going to clipper around the edges to make it nice and short and neat. But the beauty with the college boy haircut is it's not super short. You still get to have lots of length blended in with the sides. Okay, first of all, what we do is we need to make sure this top section, one of the common mistakes that are made by non-professionals is that this length here, we might like to have a bit of fringe. If we don't keep that out of the way till the end, it can often get cut super short through here. And then you end up having a great big corner hole. So we want to make sure that we eliminate that. So what we do, we'll section off that. I've already washed the hair so it's nice and wet and I can manipulate it nicely. Okay, taking our first section, we want to get nice and close. So you can see here, I'm cutting off about a centimetre of hair. And then I'm just going to take those sections a little bit higher, keeping that same hair in there. And each time I take that section a little bit higher, I get the next section. Can you see how I'm cutting into the palm of my hand? That way, even if he moves, I'm not going to cut him at all. He's protected, okay? Going around the ear. We'll also neaten it up again with our clippers when we're finished, but this is just to ensure it's neat and tidy as we go along. Okay, so again, push the ear out of the way. Take our section as short as we can, as close to the head as we can. It's about 1 centimeter, which is also about 1 month's worth of. Okay, so I take that section a little bit higher. Up here, really close, there's a lot more than 1 centimeter. I'm going to end up not being able to blend the top section with the sides. So it's almost like we're pulling every bit of hair down into that one line. Okay, nice and close. Take that centimeter off. I'm going to take that section all the way around. Section it. And we're on an angle, bringing all the hair down to this one point. Okay. Again, I start at the bottom. I go a little bit higher. A little bit higher. A little bit higher. So it's almost like all of the hair is coming to a particular line. It's coming around into a bit of a V shape, and that's how we're going to get our nice college boy haircut. Okay. Get the ear nicely out of the way. Tidy that up a bit more when we start. Okay, so if you come around again, I'm going to move this hair out of the way so that way I don't end up taking a corner out here, which is very easily done. So I'm going to start low and close and take that centimeter of hair off. Take my next section, pull it down. Ear is out of the way, but protected. Okay. Now you want to make sure you don't cut into the hairline. You want to comb it and you'll see where the hairline is, where the hair starts to grow. You don't want to go in deeper than that. You'll have to end up having to shave off into the hairline in order to neaten it up, which is not going to look good when it starts to grow out. Okay. Sometimes you need to keep combing, going over the same section, because some of those hairs have laid down when we've combed them and we've missed them. So we just keep going over, following kind of the same line. And then our client often moves their head, so we need to push it into the right position so it's easy for us to work. Again, we're going to take these nice and close in around the hairline. And we're trying to sort of bring all the hair down to this kind of line that goes down through to the occipital bone. And that will give us our nice college boy shape. Now, no need to worry if you feel that your line is a bit heavy going around, which that's fine. We do want a little bit of heaviness to create our shape, but when we use our thinning scissors, that's when we will soften up that line to help it blend a little bit better. Head down a little. Okay. This one we can taper in by again taking that centimetre off, but shaping it down into the hairline. And that way we're also cross-checking, because we've taken our sections like this. Now if we take our sections like this, we can see where we've missed here, and we are then cross-checking to make sure we don't have any scissor lines. Okay, now because we've taken our sections this way, for us to cross-check, we need to now take our sections this way. And then we take off the hairs that we missed. And as we get up to that weight area line, just pull it out from the head. We don't want to be taking it really short in close, because then we're going to lose our shape that we've nicely created. Head down again. Now, this area through here, we're going to neat that up with clippers, so we'll get back to this. In order to take, say, a centimetre, a month's worth of growth off the top, we're going to create our section and we'll start at our crown. Okay. And we'll take our centimetre or so off that top. Take our next section going forward. And then we'll see our guideline. We want to be able to match up to that guideline. So we take the same amount off with each section. Again, there's our guideline, I can see. Okay, so to cross section that now, to make sure that we didn't miss any, we're going to take our sections the opposite way. Okay, so we can see if we've missed any, we're going to catch them in our cross sectioning. Okay, now we're going to go over the crown. We're going to take sections this way, and we can see there's our guide and there's our guide. So we're just going to take that off in between the two. And we work around the head, working from one guide to the other and taking off that corner. You can see there. Section through here. Now, as we take these sections, we want to be very careful again that we don't cut into this area too deeply to take that corner out. So when we pull it out, we really want to see where our guide is and our guide, and make sure that we don't take more than that off. Okay. Guide and guide, taking that corner off. Now keep in mind that hair, when it's wet, is also, well, hair's got a lot of elasticity, which means that when we wet it, it actually lengthens. We can pull it and stretch it out. So sometimes you'll think, oh, that looks long, I need to take more than that off. And then you take a whole lot off, and then when it dries, it's down here. So that's when we cut our fringe, which I'll do a tutorial on fringes, you've got to be careful really not to take too much off, because once it dries, it shrinks, and then it seems a lot shorter than. Okay, so now we're going to go to the fringe, bring it forward. Okay, and this looks really quite long, but I only really want to take it up to our eyebrows. And with fringes, we don't really like to have harsh lines that go across, okay? That's when it can look really amateurish. So one really easy way is to get our line, okay? Get your scissors and chip into. That way you're gonna have a much more natural looking fringe haircut, or bang haircut, depending on what country you're in. Make sure not to chip too close to your fingers. This is sometimes when you can nip yourself. Okay, working right around, making sure we don't take it up into the hairline. Okay. Again, we think this looks quite long, but once it dries, it's going to jump a little above the eyebrow, and that's where I want it to sit. I don't want it to be a super short fringe. Okay. And if we think sometimes that the fringe feels a little bit heavy, in order to take a bit of weight out but not length, you can go back and take that section. Sometimes you see a point. If you take that point off, you're going to be able to take some weight out of that fringe without taking any length off. Okay, now that is pretty much the body of our haircut done. What we want to do now is we want to tidy up the edges, and we also maybe want to blend this a little bit more to take a little bit of weight out. So I'm going to do that with my thinning scissors. For anyone who wants to cut their own kids' hair and they're not a professional, I really recommend a pair of thinning scissors. This is going to make sure that if ever you do any mistakes and you have some scissor marks, this is going to help you out a lot. Or if you've got kids that have extremely straight hair, it's really difficult to do a really professional haircut. So these are going to be your secret. In order to take this weight line out, what I can do is I can just chip in, and it's just going to make sure that I can blend it quite nicely. And you can take it a bit higher as well. Nicely to be able to keep that length on top, but also to be able to blend. What the thinning scissors do is that they actually cut every second hair, which enables you to help get that weight area not so heavy. Right, and you can also use them to scissor over comb as well to help take some of that weight out and blend. Now this hair down here, I'm not too concerned about it because we're going to tidy that up with the clippers. Wile is the best brand, so this hand-free without a cord is what I prefer. We come into our sideburns. We're able to do some nice, so you can see I'm actually leaning it on my hand, so then that way ask your child to sit really still, and then that way we can do a nice firm line. That way it's going to be tapered in. I can also go to the side up here a little bit more. See how I've tapered out the comb? I'm just doing close to the hair. You get them to move forward, back up straight, head down, so then that way that little indentation will come out for you. If you don't move their head around to the right position, it's really hard to really get into these little areas in between the sort of the neck bone. Back up nice and straight, get them to put their back up nice and straight, and then lean their head forward. That'll bring out this section for you. So I'm holding the comb out on an angle. That way there's no way I can accidentally take a chunk out, because that comb is protecting the hair that I don't want to be cut. Taking off that hair over the ears. And then I can do that nice line. You can also nicely go around if you've missed a few hairs. Right there. You want to make sure you're very light on the skin. If you were to push this in, it's possible that it could cut the skin, and your kid is not going to be very happy with you. Okay, I'm going to go do a rounded edge, or you can do a square edge. Okay. Again, make them keep their head straight, and then get them to look down. So back's nice and straight, get you to look down. That way you can do a nice straight line. Get rid of, see he's got his head tilted, so make sure you straighten it up, otherwise we'll not have a straight line. Rinse him off. Get rid of all those little hairs, and then we'll style it. We'll come back then. Okay, thanks. So, we've washed our hair, got nice clean edges, still got our weight area on top. Okay, we've got our length. We're going to pop a little bit of mud in, and looking good. Looking handsome. Okay, so we've done our college boy haircut. Looking handsome, looking beautiful, ready for back to school.